Welcome to WO50 Women Over 50 Embody Wisdom and Wellness.
I'm Corinne, and I'm here with my BFF, Eddi, and we today talked about unstucking yourself.
Ooh, it's a great topic too. Wow. We dug deep and
Yes, one of my biggest challenges, well, probably in my life too, to think about things differently, look at things differently. And also with my clients to help them get unstuck. It's probably the biggest challenge as a life coach that I have. And so today we talked about how to unstuck yourself, where you can get stuck, how you can get stuck, and the importance of unstucking yourself as we age. I mean, it's great at any age, but it's important as we get older for the brain.
Yes, it is. Keeps things flowing and we feel more alive when we're engaged in life and
Healthy.
so stuck. Healthy, yeah.
And
we're preventing a lot of illnesses, and a lot of brain smog.
That's great. All right, so we hope you enjoy the episode as much as we enjoyed talking about it. Hi, Eddi.
Hi, Ken. How are you today?
I'm good. Just been a little bit busy. Cooking all day, actually. I made that recipe again that I made at my sister's house. Like using my keto sugars and I came home to like 6 zucchinis that were the size of my upper leg bone.
Wow.
And so, I only used one of them for this. I made chocolate zucchini cake, and it's gluten-free and dairy-free because I wanted Jamina to be able to eat it.
Excellent.
And it's the Best of Bridge recipe, but the Best of Bridge, of course, has flour, and it's not vegan because it has eggs in it, but it's like almond flour, coconut flour, and more eggs. And anyways, it's really yummy. It looks good. And then I made muffins.
Yummy.
I wish you would. Oh yeah, you couldn't do the chocolate part. I'd leave the chocolate out for you.
Yeah, I know. We all have these little things, little sensitivities, but everything can be worked around. There's lots out there available.
Mostly the last week, I've just been kind of reorganizing, getting back because I was 3 weeks in Canada, right? It's the Western Canada with my family, so it's been just like getting back in the groove, the garden, and getting my house back in order and all that stuff. How about you?
No, I've had a good week since we last talked, and my garden is doing better, and my zucchini are not that big, but they're getting there. And I had the grandkids today, and we did a little walkabout, and we actually are learning piano together. Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, I know. I got a little keyboard that a friend gave me, and the kids saw it, and I said, "Okay, we're going to download an app," and we did. And we sat for like, oh my gosh, 30 minutes. And she's 6. And then the 8-year-old got interested in it. He was like,
He did? Wow. Because he likes the drums.
Yeah. So then, me, I'm a guitar player, not a keyboard player. And then I look at this simply piano, and we all learned where the different C's were on the scales. And next, we're all playing.
Yeah. That's amazing. So good for kids because their brains very, very malleable. So when they're that young, they learn things more easily. And our brain, it's good to keep it malleable to learn brand new things. Whether it's that's what I love. I love learning the new picking patterns on the guitar. And what else? They say dancing is good, like learning new dance moves. Just anyway, and that kind of goes into our topic for today.
Yes, it does.
That we decided in is called unstucking yourself.
Yes, and that
Not
works
the other
for me.
word.
No, unstucking. So I just branched out to piano just to see, and I'm loving it. So it's you're never too old. So here I am, in the last year of my 50s, going, I am going to play the piano. I'm going to learn this with the kids, and it's really good for the brain. And I say this to my patients all the time and friends. Learn something new, a language, read about history, try different things that you never dreamed you'd ever dabble in. Don't get lazy. Again, like if we're in menopause, we pause, and that's okay. And that pause is beautiful because that's the perfect time to unstuck yourself.
Yeah. Because I think as you can see it over your life, sort of when you well, for a style, for instance, that you like in clothing, in your 20s, it's like it does kind of go out, not that you have to follow the style that's in fashion, but it's like we kind of get stuck in things that work for us and that we like. I know for me, it was it was yoga and meditation. Really, it worked so well for me. I thought
Mhm.
that the whole world needed to do it, and then it needed to do it the specific style of yoga that I taught and that I learned,
Yeah.
and the specific style of meditation. I became quite dogmatic in my early 30s about those specific styles, and over the years, I've softened, I hope, a little bit, quite a lot, I hope, and know that there's many techniques out there, many styles of yoga, many styles of meditation, and it's like whatever works for you. And so, but the tendency is, as human beings, when we find something that really works for us, we stick to it, which is great. And unless you become very stuck, we get stuck in our belief systems and our way of looking at things, in our
Mhm.
way of doing things, in what we like, because as we get older, we just want to do what we like. and
Mhm.
and you got to shake it up to
Yeah,
keep
we
the
get
brain
stuck in
healthy.
well, we get stuck in self-criticism, we get stuck in, trains of thought or whatever a certain belief system was, and then if we, just do the opposite. One day do the opposite. Just try that.
Well,
Go,
I'm brushing my teeth with my left hand right now because my right hand is still gimped because of my fall. And
mhm,
so I'm like, I don't even fight it anymore because it really hurts to do what my right hand. So I'm like
yeah.
brushing my hair and with the left hand, and it's hard, but I'm doing it.
Well, your brain is, calculating all that, and it's really funny because yesterday, I went for a game of golf, and, golf is new to me too. So, my honey, he loves golfing, and, he loves it not loves it, but, and we enjoy it, going out and doing sports together, and so when I was, being taught how to golf, I'm ambi, so I'm mostly right-handed, but I do a lot with my left. So I never really got into golfing because my drive, my swing, the balls were going all over the place. I just could not get it. And he looks at me and he says, "Well, maybe you're supposed to golf left. Let's just rent
Oh,
some lefty golf clubs." Well, yep, I'm a left-handed golfer and
wow.
I'm pretty dang good at it too. Uh-huh.
Wow. So you just needed
So
to find that.
yesterday I know. So yesterday I went, "Wow." So the whole, few hours we're playing, it was amazing. Beautiful sunset, the wind was blowing lightly, the game was gorgeous. It was 70 Fahrenheit, 24 Celsius. And
That's great.
it was great. And there was
And it,
no panic, no rush, and I had to remember, right? You just go, "Oh, okay. Oop, rejig things." So it is unsticking. Yeah.
now what about the pickleball? You right or left-handed for that?
I'm both. I'm both. It drives
Wow.
people crazy. Yep. I serve right, and then my racket is in one or the other hand, depending on what direction the ball's coming at me.
Wow.
So I know. I
You could be
know.
like a pickleball shark. You could do play left-handed, and then people say wager, and then you could be and be like, no, I'll let me use my correct hand.
Well, true, true. So yeah. So I think, we can try that too. Try even if you're a righty and you're painting or drawing, try it with your
Oh
left.
my
Try it
gosh,
with your
that would
left
be
hand.
no,
Yeah, try
no,
painting with your left hand. You
no.
don't have to draw a picture. I mean, that would be
It
but
wouldn't.
just
It would be.
yeah,
It wouldn't even be stick
okay.
figures for me. I mean,
Yeah, you're staying
I'm
very stuck there, Corinne. That's very
I know
stuck.
I'm trying so hard because my right hand is not happy right now, my right arm. And so I'm really like washing my hair with my left hand only
Yeah,
and putting the cream on my face at night with my left hand only. Oh my gosh.
yeah.
And putting my cream on my body and my makeup. Oh,
Yeah, does
so
it feel
I'm
like
trying
somebody else's hand?
totally.
Yeah. So isn't that wild?
That's
All
why
the
I'm saying
senses.
the handwriting would be a step beyond, like I'm doing this other stuff and I'm experiencing it. Yeah. But that's
Yeah,
exactly right, Eddie, calling me out. That's why we have good friends like that, because we're stuck in areas that we don't even realize. Like I'm a good cook, but I'm not a good baker. Like I let that go a long time ago
yeah.
because I try to practice what I preach. And, I actually love baking now, especially doing the keto stuff and the low carb
Yes.
things. Like it's fun.
You're a great baker. I love your baked goods. They're awesome. Yeah. We've come a long way with our baking. We say things like that all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, People who've sang and they go, oh yeah, I'm okay. There's better, but there's worse. If I love this saying, if the only birds that sang in the forest were the excellent ones, it'd be an awfully quiet forest. Isn't that a good one?
True. That's
A lot of
awesome.
squawking going on in that forest. And that's okay. It's like try singing and try different things. Pause and go, what am I interested in? What have I said no to and can change? Even with travel or, yeah.
Yeah, that Jim Carrey movie that Yes, I think it's called Yes or Yes I Can or Yes movie,
Mm.
old movie, and that was when he was always saying no all the time, and his
That
life
was
was
the Yes
small.
Man.
Yeah, the Yes Man. Thank you.
That's really
And
funny.
then when he decided he was going to say yes to everything, I mean, there's something to be said about that. And because we do, and as we get older, what happens is your frontal lobe starts to shrink after 50.
Mm.
And your frontal lobe is your critical thinking, your creative thinking. And if that starts to shrink, that's why older people are sort of known as being set in their ways and even a little bit curmudgeony and not wanting to learn new things. Like I can't tell you, like my mom, my mom, how amazing she is. She's going to be
Mhm.
84 in November, and she's traveled the world twice by herself, has, she's just, my friends all through my ages were, they loved her. She was wearing leather mini skirts up until, a few years ago, and she could still rock it. And
Yes.
she, her mantra, and my sister and I are constantly, like, she's constantly saying, well, because her memory is not so good now, her short-term memory, right? And so she was a little bit, it's been happening slowly for like 4 or 5 years now, but very slowly. And we remind her of that. It could have been so much worse. And she still lives alone in independent living. But every time, we'll say, let's go somewhere, she's like, well, I don't know. I don't like, me and new things. I don't like doing new things. And me and my sister are like, no, you got to,
Right.
can't, even though it's her brain that's changing and we understand she's nervous, we sort of talk her through what, instead of that being just her go-to, it's like,
Hmm.
okay, let's dissect that. We wanted to take her to Beautiful, the Carole King musical in Vancouver. And
Mm.
my sister and I really wanted to see it. We knew mom would love it because mom loves Carole King. And when we started talking about it in the car one day when we picked her up at her home and we're going back to play cards at my sister's house. And she's like, well, I don't know, I don't like new things. And my sister just is like, okay, well, you love Carole King, you love musicals, you're going to be with us, and just kind of talked her through those things. And that, you want to do prevention as we get older.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We don't want to get a lazy brain, lazy mind, just not challenged, because it's dulling. It's dulling to the senses. Even trying different foods, they kind of get stuck and go, no, I don't know if I want that. I don't like that. And, it's interesting. Um, Stratton and I, my honey and I took his mom out for dinner and took her for Thai food. And she's like, well, I don't know. That stuff's kind of spicy now, isn't it? But we got there and she ate the whole thing. Like she ate it and she was said, I need more water. And she drank the water. And we just loved it because she did it. And I was like, you don't have to eat it if it's too spicy. She goes, oh, I'm not wasting food.
How old is she again?
90,
Yeah, it's a big.
90 years old. Yeah.
You got to push them sometimes, the older
Yeah.
people, and we're happy to gently give them a push. And by the way, my mom and I mean, we had the most amazing time. We drove into Vancouver and went for a beautiful vegan meal and then went to the place. She loved it. She loved every minute of it.
Yeah, that's great. My mom, I remember when she would fly down when I lived in Nashville for a while and I'd fly her down and she would go anywhere and eat anything, and it was great.
That's how
Yeah.
that's how my mom was always.
Yes, your mom was always like that. I didn't think my mom was going to be like that, but she is. And now she's making fish cakes for a CBC special and they want to film her making a blueberry duff, which is a big ordeal up here. And she's right delighted. My mom's 88 and she's right delighted because last year her picture was up for this gal this family friend, Lori, who's a forager up here, who's amazing. And she did a TED talk. And of course, she's talking about my mom. And here she blasts this great big screen picture of my mother. And my mom, like, you know that TED talk stuff? I was on that. When
Mutter.
did you
We
do
call
a
her
TED
Mutter.
talk? Mutter, when
Your
did you
mutter's
do a
amazing.
TED talk? Yes, they talked about me making my fish cakes, and it was so
And her
fun.
cod, we made out of cod, right? Her codfish
Yes.
are like the best. I asked you for the recipe the other day because I've got some cod that I need to cook.
Yes. And how beautiful, because here she is now. She's got to, I called her yesterday. What are you doing? She said, I'm making 40 fish cakes for Lori for her special that she's doing. And I said, 40? She said, oh, yes, I'm going to make them a little small, kind of like a little bit bigger than a Timbit.
Cute is she? How
I
cute is
know.
she?
I
And she's
know.
had 9 lives, that woman. She has
Oh,
come through so many things.
amazing, amazing. And that's another beautiful thing about staying, you can get stuck in your thoughts because I'm talking to her one day and she goes, "Oh, this is getting old and there's always complaining and I'm this wrong and that wrong." And I said, "But mom, you got to think about all the other things instead of those, complaints you got. You've had those complaints for 50 years." "Oh, that's not very nice," she says. I was like, "Well, you have." So I said, just, if the right foot hurts, think about your left one.
I could just see you saying that to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
it's that's the important thing about having friends that kind of call you out on things because it sneaks up on you because you think you're open to new things and trying new things.
Mm,
But then if you have a friend that says, it sneaks up on you how stuck in habits and habitual things and the way of doing things and where you like to go and you're only doing yourself a disservice as you get older
mm,
because it's gonna get your world is gonna get smaller and smaller. And if you want it smaller and smaller, that's okay. Some people don't want to expand their life, but if you want to be healthy as you get older and have a healthy mind and have a healthy body and be engaged with your kids and your grandkids and be engaged in the world and feel useful yourself, then you
mhm,
have to push yourself. I always use the example of a muscle, like when you're working out with weights, it
mhm,
hurts. It's not that enjoyable when you push yourself, and it even hurts afterwards. The muscle, you have to break the muscle fibers for it to build back strong again. And that we were going to talk about self-awareness too, because I mean, I think every time, to me, self-awareness is really key, and that's really just means looking at yourself and
mhm,
how you're conditioned in your life, because we come in as these little babies and we're a
mhm.
clean slate,
Yep.
and everything we learn, it's like a computer being programmed,
Yes.
right? We're programmed. And
Mhm,
then I think, and then in your 20s, hopefully you become more self-aware and realize how programmed, like your political thoughts or your parents and the way you look at the world is the way your friends look at the world. And
mhm,
and I think that's part of the divisiveness in the world right now is because everybody, even the algorithms on YouTube and stuff is like, they're going to give us what we like and what
mhm,
we believe. And so you have to push yourself to look at things in a different way and to see things in a different way and
mhm,
to, you know, yeah, have that when you have those identification with like um I'm a kind person, or I'm a like I said, I'm not an athlete at all. Like that would be one that you know, I am not an athlete. But I love
you never
yoga
know.
and I love hiking, and
Mhm,
I have to push myself because I don't love exercise, but I do love yoga and hiking and other things. So I've tried to push myself to go beyond, and even I would be open when my arm heals to maybe learn some pickleball.
yes, I think you might enjoy it. You never know. It's so funny because when we were out doing our little walkabout in Nashville a few months ago, there was a pickleball game going on
In
in
the
Nashville
mall.
in the mall. And I went, Grin, I wonder if they'll let me play. She's like, "You don't want to play pickleball now? You don't have the right shoes." And I'm like, "Oh, I just want to just play for a second." And it was so fun.
I had to videotape you.
Well, it makes you feel really, I don't know, when you're active and you're doing things and these were young kids they're playing and you engage with them, you're not getting stuck in your ways. You can hold yourself back and be inhibited. Oh, they don't want an old woman going in. And I'm like, I'm not an old woman. I know how to play pickleball. And then I go in, I'm like, I won a tournament one time in Canada. They're like, yeah, you play pickleball? And they're excited. And then they gave me the racket and I jumped in and played for, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes. And it
Yeah,
was
it was
fun.
awesome.
It
Yeah.
was fun. Because
Yeah.
one day we won't be able to do that. One
Mm.
day we don't want to jump on a plane and go because the traveling is hard. And I hear that from 90-year-olds. They're like, oh, like even in the family, they're going, oh, I've traveled my last trip now. I just don't want to do it anymore. I don't have the strength in my legs or in my back, or they just don't want to do it.
They want to,
So
which is fine.
yes, and sometimes that's not being stuck. That's just like, I've done it. I've been to some of
Yeah.
these places you've been to, and now I just want to just kind of pause and relax and just be.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not there yet, so we don't know, but we do know, as we watch younger friends and acquaintances and now, my grandkids and you get to experience them too. We watch their awareness and their self-awareness. It's even what I say to them, I'm aware. And I don't just say it because I have to also be aware that these children are my daughters. And I can't just say what my belief systems are. I can say them, but sometimes I have to, maybe you might have to filter every now and again and wait. It's like, man, you should have seen our discussion or heard our discussion around the Barbie movie.
With your daughter or with,
No, with the kids. And it was like, oh my gosh, it was so fun. But that's for a total, another podcast talking about movies, and that'd be a good one, wouldn't it?
yeah, the whole,
Movies.
the Barbie
Movies that
has got a lot of topics in there. That one, you got to see it first though.
I do. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I will. But yeah, the self-awareness thing,
What's your
it's
definition of self-awareness, Ed?
knowing yourself, what your beliefs are, inquiry, looking at who you think you are, who you want to become, having the wherewithal, around yourself, and acceptance. So it's just awareness,
Acceptance of, but I have, I mean, yes.
acceptance of self. What is yours? What is yours?
Yeah, no. Well,
We have a short podcast.
no, everybody's saying they want longer. We still have another 15 minutes yet. It's our 10 minutes. Like being aware of being aware, I guess, is what I'm interested in. So how many times do we put away the dishes and brush our teeth or wash our face and do things or drive somewhere and we're not, don't even remember going there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to
Mm-hmm.
me, being self-aware and aware of awareness is noticing and being consciously aware, especially when you're doing habitual things.
Yes.
And that's a whole nother sort of level. Like what you're talking about, I think super important in the world, being self-aware and noticing that you are conditioned and you can change that. Knowing that you, just know that you have autonomy over yourself, your beliefs, you're not Pavlov's dog.
Well, it's even the self-awareness around, what triggers somebody. So when people get to become aware of even a trigger, whether it's an emotion or a noise or a sound or there's another level of awareness of self around that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So
being aware that you have a choice of if you're reactive or not. You have a choice about your belief systems. You have a choice about how much you identify with the roles that you play, because we are, almost like actors in a play playing different roles. But if there was an actor that got stuck in one role that they played, then they wouldn't be able to do anything else. So we're mothers and daughters and friends and community members, and we're all of that, and not being sort of stuck in any one way.
Well, I remember years ago when I studied psychology, we were looking at self-realization, self-acceptance, or acceptance, self-actualization, and now with what we've done in our lives, there's an awareness beyond the awareness.
Yes. Yeah. Being aware of being aware. It's another step. So
It's
there's
another,
conscious. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And if you had said that to me 20 years ago, I would look at you like, huh? Or 30 years ago, 40 years ago, and even now at this age, present moment, there's still an evolving awareness around that awareness. It's almost like it's like a layering, but it's a hard one to explain.
Yeah, it is. And it's so individual. It's just like, we're all having a different experience. And when we say things, it's never going to really be, especially when we talk about this stuff, it's not going to be received in the way that we're even formulating it in our mind, But what I've been, and I don't know if this makes any sense at all, but I've been thinking about even the last couple of weeks a lot about is that the present moment and understanding the present moment has deepened, and in both intellectually and experientially, so much over the years. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. I agree. That the present moment, it's the only true real. It's
the only reality that exists is
right now in this moment. As I'm walking today on the field with my grandson, he says he had this little chain on his little shirt, his basketball shirt, and he goes, "I think those guys over there are staring at me." I was like, "Why are they staring at you? Do they think you're really cool?" He goes, "No, I think they're talking about me." And I'm like, "Why would they be talking about you?" He said, "I know, because of my shirt or my chain." I'm like, "Well, what does it matter that they're talking about you? Do you feel good wearing what you have on?" And he goes, "Yeah." I said, "But they don't even know you. So why would you let what they're saying to you bother you?" He goes, "I never thought of that." I said, "Okay, well, next time try and think about that." He goes, "Okay." That was it. And on we go. And then it's gone to, "Oh, look how fast the river's flowing today." It's
beautiful.
Because you only have those moments. And it's, I don't want to always have it as a teaching moment. But there's that awareness piece. Yeah.
Yeah, you're so good. I mean, Eddi, you've always been amazing with kids. Like you're just like I don't know, the greatest like TV little you could have had a TV show with kids, just amazing with all children. That's why we always used to say that my mom should have been your mom, because my mom too was a baby whisperer and a kid whisperer, and because you have so much fun, but then you add that in there, so you're really fun and playful, but then when there's moments like that, you slide it in there without, and it's like adding sugar to the bitter pill or something. It's like,
yeah. Well, it's fun. They're wonderful. Yeah, kids are great, and they're teachers. They teach me every day. So and I'm sure the kids in India, they teach you when you're talking to them. Every day, every day.
It's awesome. And kids are not stuck. No. Kids are constantly learning new things, and their emotions are so all over the place. And it's like, I hate my best friend. And then 10 minutes later, they're like, I want to go out and ask my best friend to play. It's like, they're so in the moment that they're like, they forget, and that's what we do is like, as humans, when something works for us, we're like, we want to hold on to it. Mm-hmm. We want to hold on to belief systems and ways of doing things. And I mean, that's what my biggest challenge is as a life coach, is to help people get unstuck themselves. Yeah. Because when we find something, and it's like, we're these amazing beings, that are more than our thoughts, feelings, emotions, humans, like we're more than that. And we're constantly searching like for permanence. Mm-hmm. And the only thing in life that we can be sure of is change.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's it. And so that was one of the biggest realizations for me when I started meditating years ago. It's like I could see myself searching, whether it was in a relationship or to be a singer. I was searching for some kind of permanence in my life, like a permanent relationship or so. And it's like the permanence that we're looking for is actually looking through our eyes. And that's a hard one for people to get, because the awareness looking through your eyes is the same awareness as when you were a baby. Your thoughts and feelings and emotions have changed. Your body's changed, your hair has grown, your friends have changed. But that awareness looking through your eyes has never, ever changed. That screen of consciousness looking through your eyes, that's the same when you close your eyes at night. But it's like the blue sky with the clouds. The blue sky is always there.
Always.
That's the permanence that we're seeking. But that took me a long time to get.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a lot of times it's the emotions, that's get people stuck. Fear.
Yeah, that
Fear
wanting, that grasping of
change.
fear of change. And we even were talking about how even like the desire to have a relationship and get married, it's one of the most wonderful things in the world is love. It truly is. I mean, human beings, I remember at the beginning of Eat, Pray, Love, what she talked about. Do you remember that story when she said, when people are coming across over the water, say they've been coming from Cuba and they've been stuck in the ocean for 21 days and they're going through all this trauma, and they come over and their thing that they want to talk most about is who is in love with who.
Yeah.
Not about the trauma and the home that they left, but who is in love with who, and what relationship is working. Wow. And so there's beautiful thing, but to want a relationship out of experiencing and sharing that joy, not out of trying for permanence and to lock something in.
Yes.
Kind of thing, right? It's like, and I feel like COVID taught us that. It's like yesterday, all of a sudden, tomorrow and today didn't look like yesterday was, for the first time in a generation or two.
And it was global.
This
affected everyone globally. So, and there's lots of, a lot of variable views, ever changing opinions, and amazing information. And you take it in, and, people have their own belief systems in place, and sometimes even becoming unstuck from that, just going, okay, well, maybe I should listen to that or listen to this. But again, that's a whole other podcast.
Yeah, but the best way is self-inquiry, self-awareness. Look where you're stuck. Look what things you've done for a lot of years, and can you do things differently?
Yeah. Well, some people call themselves procrastinators. They go, I'll get to it. Well, start by not calling yourself a procrastinator.
Yeah.
I truly feel our body, minds, hair, everything we speak. And when we say, I can do that. I'm going to try something new. Even saying it out loud, I'm going to eat that food. I'm going to try that week. I'm going to make a change. I'm going to just saying it out loud. You don't even have to say it to anybody, just yourself. That's even self-awareness.
Yeah. And it'll help you get unstuck.
Yeah.
So, your friends are a great reflection. Yourself and your self-awareness is great. We all need a village. We all need a tribe. We need each other. And so hopefully, listening to us, hopefully you have a beautiful tribe, or you're reaching out to try to create, or you're reaching out to your old tribe that you haven't connected to in a while, and you have people around you to help.
It's never too late. It's never too late.
For anything.
Change is good.
Yeah. Start where you are.
Be the change you want to see in the world.
That's right. Absolutely.
Isn't that Gandhi? I think that's Gandhi. Yeah.
That or Nelson Mandela.
It's not an Eddiism.
It's not an Eddiism, but
not an Eddiism. But I have a lot of them. I'm sure they'll be. Yeah, they just come in and come out. So, yeah.
Well, there's another deep dive, Ed.
It's a great one. Beautiful.
Until we meet again,
Stay well.
be well,
Be kind.
be yourself,
Be you.
be